I didn't know what I was doing until yesterday. So I was like, let me try this. I'm like, I didn't want to look bad and not know what the hell I'm doing either, bro.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it.
We should. I didn't want to look bad. All right, we should be in right now. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Awesome. All right. So what I'm going to do is also record here. We already live, We're about to get the ball rolling. What's going on, everybody? We here in a virtual hub with my man Ed Smiley. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
What up, bro? What up? What up? I
Let's get the ball rolling, man. So, Ed, I know you for a really long time. Once I joined that super expensive mastermind, I was like, yo, this man, you taught us so much about sales and marketing. I wanted to bring you here to kind of share a bit more about your background. And
yeah.
I know some things that people normally ask, and I would love to for you to share those nuggets that you have in your head. But before we start, how much have you made your clients, right? Like revenue wise?
In all honesty, bro, it's not much. You know what I'm saying? It's only in the ballpark of like that 16 and a half mil. So in that
Wait, hold on.
ballpark.
You said it's not much, brother. That's eight figures, man. What? That's let's fucking go. That's awesome, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's huge. I've been blessed to help our clients do over 11 million.
Mhm,
You've done over 60 million. I
mhm.
think we have some strategies that work for us over the years that we can share with our audience. So before we get to those strategies, tell us more about you. Like who is Ed?
Yeah, man, it's a great question. I'd say if I had to break myself into like three different categories, you have like the business side of things, like the sales side of it.
Yeah,
Everyone really knows me too. Like they like, are you a trainer? Like, nah, I'm not the trainer that you think of, right? I'm a trainer in a different sense, right?
that's
But the
funny.
fitness aspect of it, and then traveling. People know that I travel quite a bit. So I'd
Nice.
say if you had to summarize it, is business, is health, fitness wise, and then
Mhm.
traveling all over the world, being able to eat healthy foods and travel and work out in different workout facilities, man. So that's the best way I'd sum it up. Make
So
a lot
wait,
of
hold
people.
on. They thought
Yeah,
you were a
man.
fitness trainer, bro.
They'd be like, "Yeah,
That's
how
awesome.
long you been a fitness trainer for?" 0 days, 0 years, and 0 months.
That's awesome, man. Hey, I mean that means you take good care of yourself, brother. That's what's up. So how'd you
Absolutely,
even get into sales, bro? Like, how'd you get into that?
man. I'll give you the condensed version of it.
Yeah, yeah,
The
let's do
condensed version
that.
of it. So my first introduction to entrepreneurship stemmed around social media marketing with Ty Lopez.
Oh
This was
wow.
back in 2017.
Wow. You took one of his
2017.
course?
I did. I bought his course. I was like, yo, I'm about to be rich. You know how everyone gets super excited, right, on the concept or the idea, and then
Hmm.
they invest into, let's say, a coaching program, right? People's results vary depending on their
Yeah,
skill level, their talent, and their work ethic. So,
yeah.
so for me, this was my first introduction. I had needed to make some money aside from the job. I lived in
Hmm.
Las Vegas, bro. I lived in Las
Wow.
Vegas. And I'm just like, yo, they said the average median income in people who work in Las Vegas was like 90 grand. I was
Okay.
like, I'm looking in my pockets like, yo,
Like,
where,
where that
where are
90
the
grand
funds at? Like,
at?
like, where's the rest of my money at? Because I'm definitely not making no 90 grand. I was making less than half of that.
Wow.
Yeah, so you constantly see these high rollers coming in every
Hmm.
single weekend from Russia and
Mm.
China and South America and UK. And it's just like, yo, the cream of the crop from the world came to Las Vegas. So I was like, I need to make some more money because they live in the life that I want.
Mm. Mm.
They live in the life that I want. So I was like, all right, this will be it. So when I got into it, I was like, all right, this takes more work than I anticipated. And this is
Hmm.
a completely different skill set because not only do you need to be good at the job itself,
Yeah.
but first you got to get clients.
Yeah, that's the big one. A lot of people
That's
don't
the
talk
big
about
one.
that.
Right. So it's like, before you even know if you're good, you have to get paying clients.
Hmm.
So I was like, that's too difficult. So I pivoted and went into ecom. So I was doing both of them for about for about 8 months or so.
Okay.
And then I was like, nah, I'm about to just solely stick with ecom.
Okay.
It's a lot of money in ecom, but it's a lot of money you got to spend to get into
Yeah,
ecom. And
the
I was
margin
like,
is not
yo,
that high.
it wasn't that high, but I was enamored with it. And I was like, man, F this ecom. I'm going back to social media marketing. But I still had the same issue.
Got to get
That
clients.
couldn't get clients. So I was like, bro, I need to learn this sales thing.
Hmm.
Need to learn this sales thing. So it was a conference that was taking place in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
This was in March.
Which one?
Ah, I forgot
Was
what it
it
was called.
10X?
No, it wasn't 10X. It
Okay.
was a small. It was a young dude conference, bro.
Okay.
All these young cats coming in. I was just like from California, from Texas. And I'm just like, they talked about branding,
Mm-hmm.
marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and sales. I was
Okay.
like, okay. So I seen the ad, put in my information, someone called me, and they sold me a ticket on the phone. This is
Nice.
when phone sales was like the thing. It wasn't
Nice.
no Zoom calls, these were phone sales.
Nice.
So ended up getting a ticket, decided to go, and the guy that was there, it was two or three speakers that spoke about sales,
Mm.
right? And typically when people buy, typically resonate with you in some way, shape, or fashion. So
Yeah.
I talked to him beforehand, and
Oh,
he had me
wow.
pre-sold before he even went on stage.
Wow. That's crazy.
So of course he sold from the stage. Anyone who was interested in learning sales, come back to the back room so you know how that whole situation
Yeah.
goes. And he started closing. And I was like, bet, here's the bread. And it was from that day forward where I got into my ticket sales.
That's amazing. You invested in
Yep.
yourself, right? Like you were at that point where you were willing to invest in yourself
Yep.
and you really started growing from that point. So, what happened when you started learning
Mhm.
sales to when you started seeing success?
I know this will resonate, and you'll probably resonate with this as well. The first thing that came to mind when rubber meets the road, where
Mm-hmm.
it goes from like training over to like real life,
Mm-hmm.
the first question that came to mind was, the fuck did I get myself into? What did I get myself
That's so
into,
true.
yo?
We say that all the time. That's so true.
That was
Oh
the
man.
first thing. I'm just like, bro, I don't know if this is for me, bro.
Wow. Nah, I mean that's entrepreneurship all period, right? Like,
At his finest.
it's like you don't some days you're like, I don't even know if I should be doing this.
Mhm.
What were like some of your biggest challenges in that process that makes you question yourself?
Well, the biggest difference I would say between then and now, right now, typically anyone that's getting into sales, there's a system already in place.
Mm,
You already know, here's what the calendar looks like. We can
hmm.
know there was no calendar. Calendar, what is that? Zoom calls. Why would I talk to this person on Zoom? And I can just give them like it was none of that. We call people from a spreadsheet. It was a list of names. These names were pulled from an opt-in page. You just call,
Dial for dollars.
dial for dollars, bro. So that's
Wow.
the thing that made it terrible.
Wow.
It was one day of training and then one day of like review, and
Mm-hmm.
then we had to practice every day on our own.
Mm.
So during that time there was no feed, like if you're in any business, any sport, there
Yeah.
has to be feedback so you can know if you're doing things right or if you're not doing
Yeah.
things right. So imagine this, right? This is for all the viewers out there, and even for you too. If you can imagine taking a basketball and shooting a basketball, but there's a wall, the ball goes over the wall, you have no idea
No
what the
idea
ball,
what's happening. No data.
there's no feedback.
Yeah.
At some point you could be like, yo bro, this shit is for the birds. So that's the
Wow.
feeling that it was for like 3 weeks straight.
Wow.
3 weeks straight. But for anyone who wants to become good, great, or exceptional at anything, you have to go
Mhm.
through those mundane periods.
100%.
Yep.
100%. That's how you learn.
That's how
So
you learn.
I'm curious, what was that feeling when you closed your first deal?
There's this rush of excitement.
Yeah,
So, so let me get,
tell us about that deal too. I'm curious. All right.
yeah, so check this, right? On the first day where we got leads,
Yeah.
nobody closed a fucking thing.
Mm.
Nobody closed anything. Because again, you call it from a spreadsheet. And the way the
Yeah.
spreadsheet was broken up was by area code.
So you just get whatever area code 267-960. You just get that.
We filtered it, right? We had all the zip code, all the area codes that were alike, right? So that's how
Mm.
we broke up the spreadsheet. Some people had people that were from Charlotte. We had some people who had some people from like Oklahoma. For anyone that knows, 347. That's the area code I had. Do you know where
Yeah,
that's at?
New York, New York, New York.
The heart of fucking New York, bro. I was like, everyone there thinks something is a fucking scam. Everyone thinks everyone is out there hustling,
Yeah,
bro.
don't think so much. I get that.
Oh, and that's when the like they call it the Valley of Despair. That's
Mm.
where the Valley of Despair. I didn't spent 3 grand already. I'm on the
Yeah,
hook for six. Then
yeah.
spent three, and I'm just like, yo,
I might
I
make
don't
it
know how. I don't know
three.
how we gonna make this work. Talk about leads that was in the freezer. These leads were cold as ice. These leads were like
Mm.
2, 3 years ago.
Wow.
But the cool thing about it is it's a great training ground because it allows you to refine the skill on people who are the worst possible prospects you can think of. People who are
Mm.
not interested, people who are questioning, like, how'd you get
Yeah,
my information? People
yeah.
who were like, yo, that was like so long ago. And so I use that as a training facility for all the people that come through
Wow.
and work on my team. You got to start with the worst leads first and get
But
some good stuff.
that's useful because now they're no if they can overcome that, they can overcome almost anything.
Exactly.
So I'm curious, right? So we also gonna ask questions that people normally ask. So one
Yep.
question is, and I think you mentioned something about leads. How can like a business owner identify if they have a sales problem or a lead problem?
Great question. So the thing that will tell you everything are your prospects,
Okay.
and not in a sense where you're asking them a specific question. It's like an example would be if you go to the doctor and the doctor asks what's wrong. You
Yeah.
tell the doctor like I got a runny nose, I get headaches,
Mm-hmm.
I got a scratchy throat, I'm sneezing. So these are all symptoms that the
Mm-hmm.
doctor uses and says, "Oh, what you're experiencing is pneumonia."
Mm.
Right? So they have a label for it. And
Yeah.
so they're able to take what you're giving them as feedback and say, based on what I know, this is what it is. And I do the
Gotcha.
same thing with our prospects. So if I'm saying like you're having an issue closing because you're not asking the right questions. These people are
Mm.
qualified. These people have the problem. You have the solution to their problem. You're not asking the right questions to get these prospects to sell themselves. So it's
Mm.
not it's a system problem. It's a strategy problem. It's not a lead problem. But if I hear on the call, like, I don't know how you got my information. I don't, this is not
Mm.
something I'm interested in,
Yeah.
then the system is the prospect. So that's how you're able to differentiate is what the
Gotcha.
prospect's saying on the phone, and that'll let you know where the root cause is. And now you can say,
Gotcha.
yep,
That's huge, man. Because think about it, right? Business owners, they buy leads sometimes. They buy
yep,
like 1,000 leads for the business,
mm-hmm,
which could be fine, but then it's the questions that they're asking and the process that they make these leads go through. So
correct.
what you're saying, one, you got to know the right questions to ask. You got to
Mm-hmm,
systemize what you're doing. And you
mm-hmm,
got to be able to direct them. If it's more of a lead problem, this is where they should go. If it's more of a actual sales problem, this is where everything should go. Wow.
mm-hmm,
Have you like, because you work with a lot of entrepreneurs and
yep.
you help them now, what's been that process, helping like matter of fact, tell us about an entrepreneur that you work with and where were they when you first started with them and then where are they now?
Yeah, good question. So I have two that come to mind. So I've worked with people in the real estate space. I've worked with people
Yeah.
in car rentals, people in Airbnb. So like anything that's B2C, I've worked in those realms pretty
Hmm.
on a regular basis. One that comes to mind, I'll give you one where someone was like starting from zero, and I'll tell you about
Hmm.
another one where they had some systems in place. So the first one, he had nothing whatsoever. He didn't have an offer. So what we did was we were like, well, what is your specialty? He said, credit.
Mm.
And I almost fell on my chair. I was like, okay, I get it. I'm not the biggest fan of credit offers. Sorry
Hmm.
for all the credit people out there, you know. But the thing is like the credit, good credit is used for something. What is the
Mm.
other thing that you help people do with the good credit?
Yeah.
Well, he was like, well, I've been in real estate for the last 7 years. Perfect. What type of real estate? Are we talking about wholesaling? Are we talking
Yeah.
about fixing and flipping? Are we talking about just being a realtor? So he's in the process of buying and holding. So for
Okay.
anyone who doesn't know, you buy it below market value, a property that really needs to be fixed up, and then
Hmm.
you force equity into the home by putting a lot
Hmm.
of renovations in it. So he had did that for 7 years. I was like, that's what we're going to use. So
Mm.
what we did was I said, this is how we need to structure it. First, we started off with a challenge, and then after that challenge, we use those funds to reallocate towards building out a mentorship program.
Gotcha.
So now we started off the first month we did 15K cash collected, which is not a lot. But then the very next month after that, we did
Yeah.
90,000 cash collected in a single month.
That's a big jump from 15 to 90. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah,
What do you say was the change that allow him from you making helping him create his offer to go from 15 to 90?
I would say the team just got better at their jobs.
Hmm.
So anyone that's doing something new, regardless of what it is in the business, you will see a percentage drop.
Okay.
But the thing is you have to evaluate whether that percentage in droppage in production is worth the increase that you're going to get.
Gotcha.
So with that particular offer, the closer just got better at closing.
Hmm.
Granted, I jumped in a little bit towards the tail
Okay.
end of it, but it was because it was just a lot of demands, a lot of appointments. So I
Yeah.
helped out a little bit, but the closer just got better at closing. And then from there, we added in a setter. So now the closer was only getting the most qualified people. Before he was getting the whole gambit.
Gotcha. So
Remember
that's
that?
that was that problem lead or sales because they were just getting everybody on that point. But now they got better qualified people coming in that's fit the offer that they're looking to sell.
Yes. And the reason I did that purposely because I wanted there's no substitution for the reps. It just is what
Mhm.
it is. There's like I can't do the abs. I would do the ab
Yeah.
workouts and give you the abs, right? So the closer has to have the reps. The sales rep,
Gotcha.
sales professional, whoever it is, they got to get the reps. So I said, you're taking all of these because I want you to learn. And then once he learned, he got better at it,
Mm.
got more efficient.
I want to go deeper here, right? Like
Yep.
another question you hear a lot is what's that? Because even having that team is not easy to do. So what are some of the common mistake you seen entrepreneurs make when they're building their first sales team?
Oof, that's a good question. So when it comes to building a sales team, they don't know what good looks like. They've
So
never seen. They
what does good looks like? How do you know? I mean, like let's have this conversation because that's good.
right. So when I interview a closer, or actually when I interview a setter, I have 2 rounds of interviews for a setter.
Okay.
The first interview is just to see what your experience is. So
Got
I'll ask about previous experience that you've had, or if you haven't had any direct experience in that field, what are some other jobs that are similar?
mm-hmm.
Customer relations. Have you worked in therapy's office, a psychiatrist office, anything of that sort? So it's very similar. You're asking a lot of questions and you're doing a lot of listening. So there's a lot of skills that transfer over from that previous job to this.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do in the first interview. And then I'll have a few of those situational based questions if they have experience. And then on a second interview is a role play. It
Mm,
sounds good. Some people may be good at doing interviews. Some
mm,
people may be good at talking about experience that they've done because they've done it so many times because they haven't
yeah.
had a consistent job. And so the second interview is all about let's measure your competency in this role because this is what you'll be
Wow.
doing all day every day.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
interesting. You do a role play as a second round of interview. It it,
Yep.
it also exposes people too, right? Because you can't chat GPT your way through it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Well,
that
there is a way, but it's more difficult.
yeah, I mean it's yeah, I'm assuming so. Do you care to share that way? Because I think that could benefit somebody.
So when it comes to using ChatGPT, what you can do is you can have, let's say you're in your laptop, you're doing a phone call or a role play.
Yeah.
You can have your phone on the side listening in, and then as it brings up a particular, as you're moving to a certain section, you can say summarize this section that we're currently in. Let's say
Yeah.
we're talking about like someone's goals or someone's pain, challenges, things of that sort.
Mhm.
Summarize this section, put that in a chat GPT. Second thing you could ask ChatGPT is, what are some questions that I have not asked about this particular topic? And now, as it brings it
Mm,
up, it's instant. And you can take a quick peek,
mm.
be like, oh, okay, let me go ahead and ask this question. So it may help me dive a little bit deeper into the conversation or to help this person realize like they've been fucking up this entire time. And if we don't do
Wow.
something different, you're going to regret it in some way, shape, or fashion.
Wow. So it's like ChatGPT is it's like your assistant or guide through the process while you're in that sales. Well, let's go. I want to go deeper here, right? So
Yep.
how should someone structured their sales process so they can go from inconsistent revenue to predictable revenue? Because you talked about a process. How should they structure that? Like,
Uh-huh. If we're talking about, so there's two different processes. You have before the phone call sales, and then you have
okay,
like on the phone call sales.
okay,
So if we're looking at it from an entire process standpoint, of course you have your advertising, and then
mm-hmm,
on the back end you have your fulfillment and operations, right?
mm-hmm,
That entire time is a sales cycle.
mm,
You may call it marketing and then
yeah,
sales and then onboarding, but the entire time it is a sales process. Now, if we look at it from a marketing standpoint, the front end marketing or back end selling systems that you want to have in place is you want to replicate the organic.
okay,
So, what does that mean exactly? That means what you do on social media, people trust you, they know you, and they trust you, or they know you, they like you, they trust you from social media.
yeah,
It's because they're able to see exactly what you're doing. When you run paid media, those people don't know you from a can of paint.
no,
They haven't had that window into your life
yeah,
to trust you and
yeah,
see what you've done. So we have to take all of this that we have from our organic side and replicate it on the paid marketing side. So when people do come to the phone with you, they're not like, what is this? I was just coming here
yeah,
for more information. You want to drive your salespeople up a fucking wall, schedule a bunch of like informational based sales calls.
gotcha.
That's the quickest way to lose a sales team.
Wow.
So to help prevent that and to make sure that you're getting more sales is you want to use a lot of content on the front end and help your prospects consume that content before they get on the sales call.
So I want to make sure I'm grabbing this because I think this is super valuable. Sometimes this is what I'm hearing. Entrepreneurs will go to workshops or conferences. Will say, you need to run ads, you need to have paid ads, you need to have AI helping you. You get these things set up. Now you're running the ads, you have people
Mhm.
coming in, but they
Mhm.
still don't know you, they don't trust you. And now you hire a sales team to help, but it's more like an informational session. So it's not valuable. Nobody's closing deals. So you're gonna lose that A team that you already built and spent all that money on.
Correct. And what'll also happen is like you'll start to see sales and you'll get the illusion that you're being profitable, but you're
Mm,
not maximizing your opportunities because your sales cycles go instead of it being like a one call close or even potentially a two call close, you're looking at a 2 to 3 week sales process for that deal across the board when it could have been an hour or in 2 hours. And the reason for that is in that 3 week time frame, they were able to consume the content that they need in order to feel
Gotcha.
comfortable that you can help them receive the results that they're looking for.
Gotcha. So by the time they're booked that appointment, the organic content should be coming to them consistently to nurture them enough where they know you and trust you. So when they get on the phone with a salesperson, which could be like, a week from now, they're more ready to make a decision because they're like, okay, I've been watching this guy's content for all that time. I know who he is and how he can help me.
Correct. And here's you want to know a quick little hack.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm always up for the hack. Tell me.
So check this out, right? So when you have a team in place, you have the closers and you have the setters. The
Hmm.
setters are the ones that provide the details to the closers. So now
Yep.
the closers know what type of person that I'm going to be speaking to. Am I speaking to a single mom of three?
Mhm.
Am I speaking to a couple that are, don't have any kids and are business professionals? So
Mhm.
guess what? If the closer knows that, what type of content do you think would be best to send over to them before the call starts?
Something that aligns with them, like the single mom, a single mom success story.
Exactly. So
Gotcha.
now your closer gets to send over personalized sales assets to the individual before they get on the call. So now the person that is going to be taking the phone call can see that there is someone exactly like me, whether they look
Mhm.
like me or not. They have the same background, they have the same
Same story.
experience.
Yeah.
Their stories are exactly the same. So if they were able to help that person see results, then the likelihood of me being able to get the same type of results is relatively high.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to customize our approach a little bit before they get on a call and even on the sales call. So now the person feels as though I'm speaking directly to you versus speaking
Mm.
to some generic person.
Gotcha. Gotcha. It create a better experience for the actual buyer and the seller.
Correct. So think of it when you go to, let's say, a five-star hotel.
Mm-hmm.
They typically call you up first.
Mm.
What's your favorite type of wine? Do you like wine? Do you like non-alcoholic beverages? What type of restaurants do you prefer? Okay, cool. You like sushi? Here's some recommendations of areas or restaurants that we have in the hotel that are sushi related.
Yeah.
They
It's
customize
more
the
convenient.
experience.
I like that. I like that. Now, I'm curious, right? Because sometimes people get on the phone and they feel pressured.
Yep.
So when it comes to, your philosophy on pressure in sales, or
Mhm.
more, is it helpful or versus harmful?
Well, pressure is all around us. They say pressure makes diamonds, and it does. But pressure also bursts pipes, right? So it depends on the type of pressure that is used.
Okay.
So when it comes to pressure, there's two types. You have external pressure and you have internal pressure.
Okay.
So the reason sales has had this negative stigma to it is because people have been using external pressure for the longest time. And now that is what is associated when it comes to sales is that one type.
Mm.
However, I shouldn't say that's the only type that people are associated with. It is associated to the masses when it comes to sales.
Yeah.
When someone's getting ready to buy, a $20 million yacht, do you think that that type of sales structure works well when selling to the affluent?
Mm-mm.
It doesn't. So the style that I would recommend is don't use the external pressure, use internal. External is everything outside of the individual.
Mm.
Fast action discounts, limited spots, right? All of that works against what you're looking for. Internal pressure is when you create a scenario where someone is uncomfortable because of a scenario that they've built and they need to make a change. Otherwise, whatever goals and aspirations that they have for themselves and for the people they care about will never come to pass. And that's
Mm.
where the big R word that I like to use comes into play:
Okay.
regret. No one wants to live in a world where they regret their decisions.
Yeah.
So what we do is we borrow the regret in the future that someone will potentially have, live it right now, experience it its entirety, and then make a decision to say, do I want this outcome? If not, then I need to do something different.
Yeah.
And the only way that I can see a world where I don't regret a scenario where, my kids go off to college and they don't want to speak to me anymore because I was never there when they were young. I
Mm,
was always at work. Or my kids are looking up to some idol that they've never met because I don't have the results that they want.
mm,
That's where your influencers like LeBron or athletes or rappers or whoever the case may be become the idol of your kids.
mm.
Your kids never met them. Maybe if so one time. But that person has more of an influence over your child's thoughts, beliefs, and how they carry themselves than you do. And it's
Wow.
because you weren't their idol and you didn't show them the life that they wanted.
So it's leveraging the internal pressure to make them see how they should be making a decision instead of the external pressure, which is some salespeople that maybe not fully trained have done or not properly trained. Which I guess take me to my next question, right? What are some of those red flags that you can tell if a sales team has been properly trained?
Well, that's one of them. It's what type of strategies are they using? Are they using internal pressure or are they using external pressure?
Yeah.
If they're using external, I'm like, rookie, rookie. So that's the first one. The second one is there's a ratio. When we're on a sales call, the prospect should be doing 80% of the talking.
Hmm.
Do you remember when we were kids? Remember how like it was like there a random auntie or a random person would say, like, oh, you talk that person talk a lot. You'd be a great salesman. Wrong.
I see what you're
Wrong.
saying. Yeah, that's the wrong salesperson.
That is the wrong strategy. The person that is doing the most talking is the person that's losing their leverage.
Mm,
Because what you do is the person that is speaking, they're teaching everyone else what they know, but they're not learning anything in return.
mm,
And there are certain situations where you are supposed to talk more, and there's certain situations where you're not.
mm-hmm,
In a sales setting, the person that is asking the questions is the person that is leading the conversations.
mm.
So, an example right now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah,
asking
yeah.
the question. I'll go wherever you want to take us.
Hey, I mean, we're having a good conversation, man. I think now I think people, anybody that's listening or watching this, I think they really need to understand the value that you bring
Mhm.
because sometimes we hear all these big numbers, but we're
Yep.
like, yeah, is this real? Can this person really help me?
Yep.
And I wanted to kind of go deeper into it to share, your strategies, things that has
Yep.
worked well for you, that people should be taking advantage of. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I'm curious right now, like you have different programs or offers. Tell us more about that
Mhm.
as well. How do you work with clients? When should clients even think about talking to you?
Mhm.
Is it like when, they're not making any sales or, there've been like, give us that scenario. When should somebody be like, I need to call this guy Ed?
Yeah, if you're a coach, if you're an online coach and you have a calendar that's like full of leads, or even if you have like a slow, steady, consistent pipeline of people coming through, and you're just like, yo, I'm losing money. I
Mm,
know that there's money in these leads that I have here. I just can't get them to move, to
yeah.
nudge, and they're like, I know I have a solid product. I know that I can fulfill it. I know I can help these people get a life changing experience. I just can't get them to say yes. If you're in that position, then that's when you need to talk to me because I look at life as a series of sales conversations.
Mm.
I do. If you're going out on a date, isn't that it's like
Yeah, you're
you
selling
want to see
yourself.
not only selling yourself, but you're seeing if that person is a good match.
Yeah, they're
What do they
selling
like?
themselves to you. Yeah.
Yeah. What do they like? What do they not like? What are their icks? Right? What are the red flags? What are the green flags?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going into an interview, you have to be able to sell the fact that your experience can help solve whatever problem that the company may have.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a business partner, you have to sell the idea that the two of you working together or the group the team as a whole would work and function better together than we
Yeah.
would individually.
Yeah.
All of it is a sales process. So our process, our training is designed for coaches and entrepreneurs that are at that point. They're like, yo, I need to get people across the board. I need some help. We will show you exactly what to do, what to say, and it won't take long at all.
Mm.
We know that this process has been dialed in so tightly that I mean that 16K we talked about was only over the last 4.5 years. It didn't include anything before that. That's when we started tracking it.
Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic, man. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's huge as well because, you know, sometimes entrepreneurs, we just kind of we going, we just as we're flying, we're building the plane.
Yep.
So we don't have process for almost anything. It's just we're going by whatever has come to us in our head. And then if it
Mm-hmm.
works, we keep doing it. And sometimes it works, it doesn't work, but there's no structure around it. So,
Right.
you
Right.
know, being able to have somebody that has done it and has helped others to do it and able to create
Mm-hmm.
that structure, I think
Yep.
is super valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious what happened, you know, they'll work with you for a couple weeks. What happened next? Is it like a one-on-one training, group training? You
Mm-hmm.
know, what does that look like? How do they reach you if they want to work with you? What does all that looks like?
Sure, sure. For anyone that's curious of where to find me, you can find me on Instagram, basically Ed Smiley. That's my name, and it's the same name across all the other platforms as well. YouTube is Ed Smiley 4. Let me see, X, same thing, Ed Smiley
Yeah.
underscore. But what it looks like is in that first tier, we're going to meet on a regular basis. So you
Mm-hmm.
know, anyone that plays basketball, how often do they typically train?
Every day.
Every day, right? The way that I'm able to help people get such quick results is that not only are we going to look at what to say, we're going to practice what to say. I'm going to show you what I did so you can
Mm,
watch my sales calls and replicate that. We're going to listen to other successful people who have done it well. And the last piece is I'm going to teach you this is what the process looks like. And guess what? That's just 1 week. That's
wow.
every week we do the exact same process. You'll
Wow.
have access to community of other entrepreneurs to see best practices from what they're doing. But I'm in on a regular basis. And then there's an elite level where I work with you individually here.
Yeah.
But you first have to go through, understand that, get some tangible results, and get it to a point where you're making, I want to get you to a point where you're making 30, 50K, even six figures on a month to month basis before we even talk about what the other thing looks like.
Got you.
So I've done that so many times, I can almost do it with my eyes closed now.
Let me
And I
ask you
want to put
this.
that to your systems.
So that means that entrepreneur can be, let's say they're just starting out. They're doing like, I don't know, 2, 3 grand a month. They can start with that program. Once they get to the 100K a month, then they get into your next program, which is more one-on-one base.
When you get to a point where I'd say if you're barely getting by and you're like, you know what, at some point I need to bring in an expert.
Mm-hmm.
I would say there's a lot of content that I have on YouTube. There's a lot of content that I have on Instagram. You can use that for free.
Gotcha. Take
And
advantage
that
of free stuff.
take
Gotcha.
advantage of that, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're at a point where I'd say you're doing maybe 10K month to month, that's
Yeah.
where your first tier is. And
Yeah.
then that first tier will help you scale to a point where you're doing, 30 to 50K. That's the qualifier
Gotcha.
for the one.
Gotcha, gotcha. I love it. I love it. Now
Yep.
I love it because people now have stages they can go through, right? You
Yep.
know where you at. Because you don't want to like you're just starting out, your offer's not even validated yet, and now you want to get sales training. It may not make
Mhm.
sense yet because you don't even know if what you have is working.
Yep. Yep.
So this is fantastic, man. People can reach you. I know how they can reach you. Anything you want to share, anything else you want to add, before we close out?
If you found that what we talked about today was valuable, I'd encourage you to go check out some other stuff that we've done on any of those channels that I mentioned, Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter.
Mm,
So that way you get to know a little bit more about myself and things of that sort. And if that resonates with you, again, use that to help because I give tangible, actionable things there for free.
fantastic.
Yep.
Hey, guys, check out Ed. I mean, this is our first YouTube live that we did
My
where
first
we bring
one.
guests in. And this is your first one, right? This is insane.
Yeah.
So
First one. First
we'll
one.
put your links and all that stuff in there. I'm excited and glad to have you here. I think this was pretty awesome. Thank you for sharing those gems. Check him out, reach out to him. And I think that's it. That's our thing for today.
All right.
Awesome.
Dude.